Hi everyone, welcome to the Strip Down to Love podcast video where the essence of love comes from within. I'm your host, Jennifer. Thank you so much for joining me here and being here with me in this very moment. Today on the Strip Down to Love podcast video, we will be talking about living in the moment. I'll talk about what living in the moment actually means, why it's important to live in the moment, the benefits of living in the moment, and how acceptance of that moment allows you to bring love energy into your life. Also, how love energy through, like I said, living in the moment can help you access your intuition. Lastly, we will dive into your materialistic goals and we will learn how to get on schedule with your materialistic goals and not get so caught up in romanticizing about them, because it's easy to continually go to this place where we dream about our goals and we nurture them in our creative life, but we want to be able to bring it into this space and time, right? Into your specific screen of space, instead of always leaving here and going there to fulfill our goals. Like, we want to live here and we want to be here and on earth in this specific time, and we got things to accomplish, right? We don't want to leave until we accomplish them. So let's get into living in the moment. As always, to start, I want you to close your eyes and imagine you are surrounded by the softest white light, and I want you to intertwine your creative energy and add little elements of your unique love to this energy. Okay? Imagine it wrapping around you and creating a floor, a space for you to be here in this moment. All right? Now that you have done this, take a deep breath in and out. Say, I am here to just be. I am here to remember. I am safe and I am ready to continue. I urge you to remember you are important and you are an investment. Invest in yourself here in this very moment. Channel all of that energy into your core that you just summoned. All right, and let it mix in with your intuition. By investing and sharing with you, I invest in myself, and you help me to learn. Again, thank you so much. Together, we give back to humanity. You deserve to remember and really enjoy life. So, let's strip down to love. All right, so let's talk about what it means to live in the moment. Living in the moment explained. Being present where you are at in that specific time. Not allowing your mind to be somewhere else. And sometimes I understand that, if it's a traumatic situation, I'll give you an example in a little bit. Then we want to exit. We don't want to be there. We don't want to experience this. But yeah, I'll get into that in a little bit. Living in the moment is soaking in the moment like a sponge, taking in that energy and that information that you need in that very moment, and releasing or squeezing out the elements that don't serve you in that very moment and that are unnecessary. All right? So I was driving the other day and thinking, wow, the year of 2021 is almost over. And so obviously I wrote this a long time ago and only am now recording it and uploading it. So I was thinking, I have all of these things on my plate. Oh my gosh, I'm thinking about my patient load, my days working versus vacation and hours, and feeling mildly guilty about going on vacation, mind you. Thinking about my podcasts, my shirts and apparel that are coming out, and where I am in the sequence of how many videos I put on versus time and all this kind of stuff, like what new ideas, like, can you imagine all of this while you're driving? Like, I don't think that we should be, it's not really safe, really. We shouldn't really be this deep in thought when we're driving or anytime, but it's good to, have a specific schedule. So in that moment, I just kind of, and I was becoming overwhelmed. So I was going further and further down the abyss of thinking. And so I don't know how to describe it, but I just took all of those thoughts and put them together and just kind of stuffed them away for that moment in time, because I was starting to become overwhelmed, like I said. So and sometimes we do need to think about things, like that's how, like I said, we keep on schedule, and that's how we continually move towards our next goal, and not block them out, because there's a difference between manifesting, working on our creative goals and our materialistic goals versus thinking about that so much, but not doing anything about it. And it's more like escape, rather than just putting one foot in front of the other. So in this moment, I just chose to just take all of those thoughts and put them together and put them away just for a little while, because in that moment, I chose to just drive. So my point here is that sometimes the universe places pause on certain areas of your life, because that's how I was feeling. I was like, oh my gosh, like I am stuck in this certain block or this certain chunk of elements, thoughts, and so many to-dos that I was obviously starting to become overwhelmed. So the universe sometimes puts pauses on certain areas of your life in order for you to just enjoy the moment and be an observer. A pause in this case were my days of vacation, because I was starting to feel guilty about them, right? But honestly, in the whole larger picture of things, my days off were very much needed. And the pauses are put there in order for you to literally enjoy this moment and gather information for the next phase. Because without this specific pause, maybe you wouldn't be able to get the information that was necessary to put you onto that next phase, which you have been desiring, right? So when you strive towards something and focus on something, as well as apply gratitude for in that specific moment, it pushes you further towards that goal and where you want to see yourself. So now I'm hearing, well, what if I have no goals, or I don't even know where to start? So this does the same. Gratitude does the same for you with your sheer focus. It allows you, and living in the moment. So it allows you to quiet the noise and allows you to answer and to be able, for the answers to flow right to you, because you quiet the noise. So if you try this and it doesn't work, there may be a step prior to your brainstorming that you need to do before you are allowed to focus, and before the answer comes to you. Okay? So why is it important to live in the moment and its benefits? It's true that happiness does come from living in the moment, because living in the moment sets you up for success to be a writer of your own story. You are unfolding the pathway of your future by applying love and gratitude to that moment. You are also being kind and gentle to yourself because in this moment, you are putting yourself first. Putting yourself first is in no way malicious or unkind. Or, and putting yourself first is not an unkind action. But in this way, you are getting in touch with the light that is inside of you and listening to it. Benefits of living in the moment. So it allows you downtime to mentally run away from your responsibilities and go inward, where you can hear your inner thoughts and your inner and your intuition and make an inner connection. So like I said in the beginning, there's a fine line between continually avoiding the things that you have to take care of versus like living in the moment and running away from your human responsibilities, going to the land of creativity and listening to your intuition and applying light and intuition to that specific idea or dream. Like if you go to how can I put this? A scenario where you're like, how can I fix this? Or like, you can just living in the moment allows you to take light and apply light to that area. The answer doesn't necessarily have to come to you, but you can just take light and apply it to that area of that specific scenario so that the seeds and the answers can grow. Okay? So I also think about living in the moment allows, this is kind of going off the basis of what I just talked about, right? Pick up messages. So it allows you to pick up messages. For example, if you are blinding yourself from the present and not necessarily paying attention because of pain, anger, sadness, like I talked about, avoidance, and maybe because of past situations that you have experienced, right? So you're avoiding all of that. You are numbing your day to not experience the day and hiding. By numbing and hiding, you are not picking up the soft messages from the universe. Because we are so caught up in this hardened sadness and allowing those tears of sadness to take us further and further down. And sometimes the universe presents, big moments for us to wake up to. But if we're big situations that are just like yelling at you in your face, because it's like the universe is like, I'm done talking softly to this person. They are not listening. But I want you to continue to be soft, so these soft messages can come to you in a gentle form. Because sometimes, I hear people saying like, what WTF is the universe doing this to me for? And I'm thinking to myself, and there was a time that I thought about that kind of stuff too. But now the universe is not mean. There's always a message, a reason why certain things happen. And I know that I understand that I am going off topic right now. But I felt as if I needed to say that. The universe is not mean. It supports you in what you do. And living in the moment allows you to connect with the universe. Okay? So by avoiding and numbing yourself, you can get caught up in this loop and train your mind and body that this is where you belong. This energy and this vibration is where I belong. And that's not where we belong. We belong in happiness. I don't want to say total bliss, but and there are human things that we must take care of that take some energy. So sometimes it's not possible to continuously live in bliss, but every time you look at your life, even though, oh my gosh, the situation is so hard, I want you to be able to look at your life and be like, but I have a pretty amazing life. So, like I said, you can start getting caught up in this loop and training your mind and body to vibrate at this specific level all the time and tricking yourself and to allow yourself to think that you belong in this specific vibration where you can't move, you're stuck, you feel like concrete, and things that are very, very hard and full of strength can easily be broken. So like I keep saying in a lot of these podcasts is that you want to be malleable, flow like the water, but have its strength as well. And you don't want to live in a painful movie all the time, right? You deserve to live in bliss. But when you look around, right? You're looking around and become involved in your own life, then that's when the living starts to happen. And the living happens in that moment. You are able to pick up messages, lessons, and have a variety of choices to pick from to create your movie and your reality. And your painful reality doesn't have to be your reality anymore. On the other hand, I'm also hearing, what if I hate my circumstances and want to live a different life? So, in this case, I would suggest accepting this specific moment or chunk of time. In that moment that I was becoming very, very overwhelmed, but I know that my life is good and I appreciate, and I finally am able to come to that conclusion. Prior to this, if you watched episode 1, it was not the case. Okay? So, so in that moment in time, I just accepted where I was and chose to enjoy the ride, because I never know. My life, may never be the same after that specific chunk of time. Acceptance is the first step to knowing your limitations. And I am going to have that episode coming out too. So why would you want to live in misery, or why would you want to create your reality through the lower level of vibrations, right? But in that same breath, your reality is what you make of it. So moving forward, with that knowledge, acceptance allows you to bring more love and gratitude into your current situation instead of being so uptight, right? Like I talked about, like stiff, like concrete. When you are uptight, like for example, like in a straitjacket. Okay, this is a better example. Like in a straitjacket, you can't take a breath, right? But with acceptance allows you to let your arms hang down to your rib cage and your diaphragm relax, and allows you to breathe. With the power of your breath, you are capable of bringing love and pulling down more love from the universe to blanket your space that you are in that specific moment. And if you haven't watched the Let's Take a Breath episode, breathing allows you to connect deeper into your intuition. So it allows you to connect with your intuition. Okay? So this is a time in which your questions will be answered when you breathe, or at least the information will be freed in order for you to pick up on it. Because why? Love is the highest vibration. And when called on, love can innervate even the darkest spaces and add light to it. By pulling love down with your breath, your surroundings will be filled with peace. There you can think, there you can live in the moment, and there you can apply gratitude and summon more gratitude to allow your future pathway to unfold with ease. So it will activate information that you are ready for because it is your frequency. Imagine it through your third eye and your heart space, so that energy, and ground yourself through breath. If your specific moment is chaotic or if there is a lot of drama going on around you, I would suggest being an observer rather than a talker. Your words may magnetize the drama towards you because you are allowing your energy to be swept up in that tornado of chaos. Being an observer in that moment and listening, you can learn a lot about people in which it can maybe benefit you in some specific way. If you are hating that moment, for example, if you say, I hate this moment, I wish I was somewhere else. Okay, so 1, hate is a heavy energy, super, super heavy. Like now I feel like my whole body is like getting smashed down to the ground. Like that's how heavy hate energy is. It's difficult to walk with this energy because it is, like I said, very heavy. So try flying. Well, okay, not in a literal sense, but this is just like in an imaginary land. So try flying off the cliff to the next phase, right? And trying to view that beautiful terrace or valley that is below you. When you're and try flying with it with hate energy. So, like, as you can imagine, you're just going to go straight down and hit the ground. You're not going to easily flow towards the next phase or easily move out of that situation. So, remember, you can say, I am where I am supposed to be in this very moment. So this kind of like affirmation is just allowing I see it, I don't know how to explain it, but like I see it as shackles. So being or hating the moment just is very detrimental to your energy. And I just see it like being locked up and you being like, in handcuffs and being stuck to that moment and tethered to that moment and that energy for a longer time than you need to. But saying, I am where I am supposed to be in this very moment allows those shackles to be let down and unlock. I allow myself to be in the present. Allows it to unfold. So this statement I see, like I said, is sloughing off that moment and sloughing off that straitjacket and getting comfortable, being an observer, picking up these things and these elements. So different energies will allow you to jump off a cliff in your mind, okay? In your mind, like imagine like you created a whole entire like your own little like creative room and valleys and like your own earth, okay? So it will allow you to jump off that cliff to the next phase and like I said, like float to it instead of just going boom and hitting the ground. Then you're still close to that moment that you disliked, okay? Because you're still tethered to that hate energy, which is very heavy, like I said. So different energies will allow you to jump off a cliff and like I said, float to your next destination. Lower level vibrations don't allow you the freedom to move quickly towards your goals. It may take longer to get there, or you may miss a specific opportunity in that specific timeline. Walking versus flying to your destination. Floating versus climbing a ladder. I am enjoying this moment. This moment is where I am supposed to be at this time. Everything has a reason for happening. This statement integrates, so I'm going to talk about this again, integrates acceptance in the moment, which allows you to shut off the outside noise or the to-do list in your mind, just like how when I was driving in my car. Quiets your mind and lets you hone in on being present, which then allows you to get comfortable. Let your guard down and then finally allows you to breathe, living in the moment. So how to break from that moment so that you can move on with your schedule and put in the human steps in order to get to your goals. Saying thank you to that chunk of time. Saying something like, I am grateful for this time that I had. I am grateful for name 5 things. It is now time for me to focus on this specific task that I can meet, so that I can meet this standard expectation for myself and welcome it with love instead of frustration or the without energy. Okay? I am excited for my future and I plan on creating it. So say that out to the universe. I am excited for my future and I plan on creating it and co-creating with you, universe. Thanking the moment and closing the door is one way to break free from that moment. I think that in some instances you are allowed to revisit a moment because it may have a message for you, or you may still have to clear some of that energy. But when you close that door, you're closing that door for a reason, okay? So you may have to clear some energy you are carrying around with you from that moment in which that energy doesn't serve you anymore. You can tell, like if you're tethered still and you're still having some residual from a specific moment in time, like clear that energy. Use ocean energy or the elements that serve you best and that you are, pulled towards most, okay? To clear that energy. Living in the moment allows you to evolve and elevate all at the same time. So transformation. Okay? Walk with love always, and I thank you so much for being here. Now let's take a deep breath in and out. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Take another deep breath in and out. Seal up all of that information and let it sift into your cells and your body. Take another deep breath in. All right, so I thank you so very much for joining me here on the Strip Down to Love podcast video. Until next time,